The Lebanese regime crisis, an alternative opinion. You've all heard about the current economic crisis the Republic of Lebanon is facing. It is among the toughest economic crises any nation has faced in the past 200 years, where not only the purchasing power has drastically weakened due to a 1,500% drop in the value of the Lebanese currency, but to add insult to injury, the savings of the entire population in Lebanese banks have been frozen via de facto capital control measures that have been imposed since November 2019. Now, this economic crisis is a reflection of a profound regime crisis the nation is facing. See, the current political landscape has been shaped by a governance structure agreed upon in 1989 based on the Taif Agreement. Now, apart from the details of who does what, and apart from the details of which political blocs have been the strongest, the past 30 years in Lebanon were all about one concept: consociational democracy among the political elite. In other words, the aim was to keep everyone happy. How did they do it? By enforcing an economic policy that actually keeps everybody happy. This policy was based on the following. 1. Pegging the currency, which rendered the purchasing power of the Lebanese people relatively strong. They could actually afford very decent lifestyles, generally better than many nations of considerably bigger GDPs. 2. Inflating the public sector, so that each political group can ensure the loyalty of its popular base by providing public sector jobs to those who swear allegiance to the political party. 3. Diverting the economy away from the productive sectors in favor of cartel businesses revolving around the import of consumer goods, so that the cartels would fund the political parties. In other words, the political elite would be paid royalties for the policies they impose to keep the cartel businesses flourishing. Meanwhile, the pegged currency would guarantee all goods are affordable. 4. Inflating the banking sector and creating a real estate bubble to keep the money coming in order to implement all of the above. So over the years, all the money coming in, all the bank deposits, all the international aid money, all the tax revenues were being drained, and the cash flow was gradually becoming less and less, until finally the crisis hit hard. The problem now is that the above model cannot be sustained anymore. There's no money to keep everyone happy. In fact, there's not even enough money to provide the bare minimum needs of the country. So what's the political elite doing? You'd assume they're working on new economic policies that enable them to navigate through the crisis? Negative. What are the politicians doing instead? They are trying hard to convince their affiliates that the issue is about ideology, and that the struggle is to impose the ideology that each sees adequate to run the country. In other words, they are creating a general impression that it's all political, and once one political party finally claims control, they can start implementing their reformist vision for the economy. However, this is just a big lie, because we have to keep in mind that the previous economic model was a joint venture between all political parties. Remember consociational democracy? So the new model based on which post-crisis Lebanon will be governed will also be a collaboration among everybody. The problem is that the political elite in Lebanon is mostly incompetents who cannot come up with solutions. So they are just waiting for the superpowers to create the solutions for them. Meanwhile, they are just winning time by making the political ideology the main issue at stake. See, the superpowers have other important issues on their agendas, and Lebanon hasn't yet become a rogue state. So there's no sense of urgency to barge in and relieve the Lebanese crisis just yet. So how do the genius politicians of Lebanon explain this? They usually go by the argument that the superpowers haven't yet decided on how to distribute the cake in the Middle East. So until then, everything is pending. But we all know that this is not true, especially when we learn how limited the Lebanese economy is by definition. After all, it's just a small country with no natural resources and with a centuries-old track record of consistent systematic brain drain. In other words, we have to keep in mind that Lebanon will never constitute a big portion of this cake everybody keeps talking about. We're just a small nation with a small economy, so all what we need to do is focus on ourselves and try to improve our country. And this can be done irrespective of regional politics. That's all what I'm saying. In any case, for those advocating political ideology as a solution for the economic crisis, good luck. And I offer you my consolation in advance for the ugly sight of right-wing and left-wing politicians becoming friends again once the new economic model is put in place. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.